Hey, what's going on, everybody? Today we're talking VanEck Vectors Video Gaming and Esports ETF, ticker symbol ESPO. As a disclaimer, this is not investment advice. This is just a research video that I put together meant to be educational as well as entertaining. We're going to take a look at the brief history of gaming within this ETF. We're going to hear from the manager of ESPO. Going to put you into one news clipping regarding the top 5 holdings. We're going to take a look at its chart and the stock. Then we're going to take a look at one particular company within this ETF that I find to be very special regarding Cyber Monday. Thank you for your time. Please like, share, and subscribe. Please enjoy.
Video games are going to be here to stay, or are they just a fad that's going to go away?
It's over here to stay.
The history of video games beginning in the 1970s to the 2000s really gained cultural relevance with Atari's introduction of the home gaming system in the 1970s. In the golden age of arcade games, we saw that in the late 70s and 1980s with games like Pac-Man and Space Invaders. You saw Nintendo with their Nintendo Entertainment System, NES, launch their video game system in 1985. And that really opened up the platform for third-party game developers. And in the 90s, video games migrated to PCs, and that became another platform for them. Local area network parties, LAN parties of folks playing video games. Then into the 2000s, with better technology and mobile phones, people were able to start playing games on their mobile phones. Today, with the rise of eSports, it's the future of sports and multiplayer competitive gaming, where you have large audiences, millions of people watching and participating in video games. The esports industry has averaged growth of 40% per year over the last 3 years. A global industry with worldwide revenues. Demographic skews young, younger than traditional sports. At an average age of under 30, this is an active, engaged audience with the potential to support the industry for a long time. That can provide long-term support for video game publishers and the industry as a whole. And there's a social interaction which you don't get with traditional sports, where spectators can interact with players as they are playing the game. The size of the video game market today by revenues is approximately $140 billion. That's the projected revenues by 2018. And it's projected to grow to $180 billion by 2021. At VanEck, we're really focused on providing access to those companies that are really benefiting from the industry and impacting the industry in a meaningful way. The potential opportunity for investors considering investing in video gaming and esports is really driven by the high revenue potential, the young demographic, the long-term potential of this industry to disrupt the media and entertainment industry. I'm Ed Lopez, head of ETF product at VanEck.
Okay, I find that information pretty helpful. It allows me to wrap my head around the manufacturing of this type of ETF. So let's take a look at this article from stockinvestor.com. ESPO looks to score in the world of investing. And I'm not going to go through the entire article. Along with many stocks and funds across nearly all sectors, ESPO dropped sharply in mid-March, but recovered fast in early April. In fact, its 200-day moving average hit an all-time high on April 17th, with an opening price of $43.23. As is evidenced by the chart below, the fund's 50-day moving average has continued to climb steadily, even across the COVID-19 clouded lows in March. So the article is highlighting some moving averages that are continuing to ascend, and this is something that I like to see as an investor. It helps me just keep this type of vehicle in mind when I'm looking to either open up a position or continue to add to a position. So the reason why I found this ETF, among others, and we'll take a look at a comparison of a side-by-side with a similar type of ETF. However, I like that this vehicle has established itself from the lows and has continued to ascend. As this ETF is focused on all things related to the gaming and esports industries, 77.21% of its portfolio is made up of holdings in the communications services sector. 17.72% of the portfolio is in the technology sector. Its top 5 holdings include NVIDIA, Tencent, AMD, Nintendo, and Seed Limited. So I like these top 5 holdings. I like that it's spread across different types of industries and sectors, but we're going to take a look at some of the holdings, and we're going to pay attention to one holding in particular for me, and I'm going to just highlight some important news regarding that holding. Okay, we're here at the VanEck.com website. I wanted to show the total holdings. Of course, I will leave everything in the show notes, so help yourself to take a look at this. Again, we see the top 5 holdings there, as we mentioned: Tencent, Nvidia, C Limited, AMD. Some very strong companies, to say the least. Nintendo following through. But I really wanted to highlight this company right here, CD Projekt. And as it has a 3.56 weighted percent of its net assets are in this ETF. And the reason why I am highlighting or bringing to the video's attention about this particular company is primarily due to a game that is coming out very soon in December. And I think that it's going to become, how should I say, a revolutionary type of game. It's going to be a very popular game, just as there are a lot of games, right, that are very popular amongst gamers and people that aren't even into gaming per se, like very heavily, such as myself. But I do understand the power that this type of thing is. I like the idea of eSports. I like the idea of gaming becoming a new normal. It's already normal, but I think that in the future, games that are revolutionary and that become not just a fad, but become kind of like everybody will be playing it in the future, at least as I see it. So we're going to take a look at a certain video game that is coming out from this company, CD Projekt.
They got a lock on us. Engine's been hit.
Get us out of here.
I'm losing control.
At CD Projekt Red, we dedicate ourselves to telling immersive stories. Yet with every new project, we set out to make our games bigger, more complex, deeply engaging.
Come on, V. Let's get you home.
Cyberpunk 2077 marries exploration of a vast open world with kinetic combat, story-changing player choices, and robust character development, all to bring you into our vision of the dark future.
You ever feel like the city doesn't give you a choice? You either burn alive in it, or you never existed at all.
The year is 2077. An economic crisis culminating in nuclear conflict has left America in pieces. With most of the continent degenerating into lawless war zones, people from all over have converged on the already overcrowded Night City, one of the world's last great megalopolises. A hub amassing the best in resources and know-how, and home to manufacturers of cutting-edge technologies, Night City continues to offer the promise of a civilized future.
What? No, this isn't happening.
Oh, but it is.
But in the city's streets, a merciless struggle for power rages. Gangs, corporate agents, hustlers, religious cultists, politicians, and all manner of criminals strive to outplay one another. Ordinary people get caught in the crossfire.
Looking for justice in Night City. I seek revenge. Much more feasible here.
In this world, consumed by never-ending conflict, sometimes only an outsider will get the job done.
Elizabeth tells me you have answers for us. I'm all ears.
And that's you, an urban mercenary, a cyber-enhanced gun for hire.
You seem to understand each other. Take this, too.
As a mercenary, you swear no allegiance. You've chosen the outlaw life and trust that your abilities will carry you up Night City's ruthless, underground social ladder.
Heart of Night City. That's it right there.
To thrive as a merc, you need the right combination of gear, skills, and reputation.
Dex had a load to say about you. I hope he wasn't overselling.
With the money you earn, you can turn yourself into a living weapon, buying guns and enhancements in the hundreds. As you roam the city's streets, you gain the experience you need to upgrade abilities and acquire perks. Combine the right skills and gear to create a gunslinger with inhuman reflexes. A stealthy netrunner with command of all surrounding tech. Or practically anyone in between. In Cyberpunk 2077, you steal a prototype biochip that can set you up for life.
Being filthy rich.
When its sealed container is ruptured, the only way to prevent the biochip from failing is to slot it into your head. It turns out it contains the digitized soul of Johnny Silverhand, a dead rocker boy with violence on his mind.
You mean to say there's an actual terrorist in my head, right now?
He's out for revenge. Aims to bring down the megacorp that made the chip.
Do whatever it takes to stop him, defeat him, gut him.
What is in your head can shift the balance of power in Night City. The high and mighty will do anything to lay their hands on it.
Told you I'd end you someday.
The choices you make will shape your story and determine how events unfold.
V, you gotta take him down. That's why we're here.
But not everything in Night City is a matter of life and death. Sometimes it's about style, choosing your look, your ride, your pastime, who's at your side. Choosing how you spend your dirty money. Welcome to the next generation of open-world adventure. Immerse yourself in Cyberpunk 2077.
So, hate to play that whole entire thing, but I thought it was important to understand that that type of video game, a lot of people are already pre-ordering it. It's already being talked about, and since it's Cyber Monday today, whenever you're watching this, I think that it was suiting for me to put out this type of company in this type of ETF, and I can see that it will make a big splash. Now let's take a look at a side-by-side comparison with a very popular company, Take-Two, and let's try to navigate the price action on the chart. Okay, so we have here Take-Two Interactive and ESPO, the VanEck eSports and Gaming ETF, and we are going to take a look at some price movement, some volatility. We're going to look at the performance, and I like to highlight more recently the 3-month and the 6-month, and we see that ESPO is slightly performing a little bit better in the 3-month and is performing just a little bit better, of course, in the 6-month. And the year to date, it is outperforming Take-Two Interactive by quite a bit of performance. And I like the price action with ESPO, and the reason why, in certain instances, I prefer an ETF versus an individual company. Now, if you're a truther, if you're all behind Take-Two Interactive and their lineup, and they have a very strong lineup when it comes to gaming, so I can appreciate a Take-Two Interactive holder, whereas you don't want to be buying everything else that is in ESPO. So I can appreciate the cherry picking when it comes to certain stocks. However, I like the price action with ESPO. It's at $65, and I can see it pulling back, and we're going to take a look at its chart coming up just after this slide, but I just wanted to highlight the difference in performance relative to price. And myself personally, I can get behind an ETF that has holdings and has certain companies that put out the type of quality games and esporting that is attractive to an investor such as myself. So again, I just wanted to highlight the side-by-side comparison. Okay, so let's take a look at my trading view. We're going to look at the trading window of ESPO, and I'm just going to highlight some levels of support from the end of July, the beginning of June. It's had a great run. It popped above 65 toward the end of October, November. Then it had a nice little pullback, and then it started to surge once again, and it is again above 65, and it's to where we are currently at. So in my opinion, again, we don't know what this thing's going to do. It can do anything. That's one thing I do know is that I don't know. However, these levels of support are indicating that that's what they are there, and that's what they were meant to do, that they had traded there before. So I could see it pushing on and giving us some nice stair-stepping patterns of ascension. So just for me personally, I'm going to make this level of trading, this level of resistance that it has already popped through once before, and I'm going to make it right around the high 64s and to the I guess, it's like 63, mid 63. If it's already popped above that. So if it can stay above this level, then great. Then we found a new level of support, and I think that it can continue to trade there. However, I wouldn't be completely surprised that if it took another dip, and I see it as a great buying potential, that if it dips below this high 63, low 64 mark, if you want to call it that, then I could see it possibly trading sideways for a little while, which it had done previously. Then if it can surge and make that level a support, and then I can see it to grow. So in my opinion, I am bullish on this ETF. And I think with a lot of the companies that surround it, like I'm highlighting this little point right here, that's already traded above this level of resistance for me that I made. And it just really didn't trade sideways from there. But if it can grow, then I will be happy. Okay, I'm going to leave it here. I thank you for your time. I really do appreciate it. Please continue to like, share, and subscribe. It helps me out tremendously, help people find my channel. If there's another company, ETF, or an IPO that you would like to see me research, just drop it in the comment section below, and I would do my best to get to it as soon as possible. I think that this ETF is pretty gnarly, and until the next video, I will see y'all later. Take care. Stay safe.